Let me introduce our speaker for today. We know and love this amazing woman that talked about being extra last week. She was a hairdresser for over 20 years, always booked out years in advance. Her and her husband own a luxury construction business, and she'll tell you her story of how she was introduced to this business. She's a faithpreneur, she's an author, she's been featured in other books, and she's such an inspiration to my husband and I, and we love her so much. So please help me welcome Regional Vice President, Mrs. Jocelyn Driskill. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me good?
Yes, ma'am. And you look beautiful. I love the hat. I love the whole look. I love everything.
Coming as a warrior today. Coming as a warrior. And if you didn't know, this is my new brand. So clothing coming soon.
That's a hint, guys. That's a hint. Keep an eye out.
Along with the book. So anyway, I am so grateful to be here this morning. I knew it was going to be you, Natasha. I didn't know, but I knew. So I'm always grateful when you open and share your thoughts about myself. And, you know, I feel the same about you. I have so much respect for you, Natasha, and your husband. We have a great relationship. I love seeing you rise and elevate in your leadership, and I'm always cheering you on. So thank you so much. Those of you who know her, you love her. And if you work alongside her, you are very, very, very blessed. So thank you so much for opening and being the host today. And I also want to give shout out to Jabri Clemens, who's there. I know puppies are coming along soon today or something, and he's still showing up here today. So thank you so much, Jabri, for all that you do for us. Just always grateful, not enough words to describe that. So, but anyway, I am excited about this morning. You might experience some heartfelt, vulnerable stuff from me today. I'm going to start off being vulnerable this morning because I need all of your hearts to be open to take in what I have to share today. I'm hoping I get through it all because it is very significant. It came to me the beginning of last week, and I worked through it along with all the challenges I had last week. So my first question to each and every one of you: how many of you faced or are facing or have faced challenges in your weeks? Whether it's emotional, whether it's actual things are happening, things are unfolding, and you're kind of helpless. Yep, you feel helpless. Okay. I'm going to tell you, it happens to us all. You all know that. You've had me, I've said it before, but I think sometimes many people think, even like, what you think about Mr. Thomas, that we're superhuman. We're superheroes, and we don't have, we don't have the same challenges, or we don't struggle with some of the same things, or life doesn't happen to us, because you don't really ever hear it or see it too much. So I'm going to share a few things with you that happened to me last week, because I really think you need to know. And why I think you need to know is you need to know I'm human. And things happen to me. I know, Sam Foster, right? That's mind blowing. I love your facial expression. I may come across as being a superhuman, but I'm not. I'm not necessarily. It's just that I have a different way of being. I have a different way of handling them, coming through them, and that really starts because of who centers me every single day, and that's, as you saw in my picture, I'm always pointing up. So I handle challenges and obstacles very differently. So many of you knew I was on here and were with us last Monday, correct? Well, last Tuesday, I got a call from my daughter, and my grandson was having to go into the hospital. Now, this is the grandson who's only 6 years old, who's already had heart surgery when he was 2. He's had many different things. He had a broken arm like last month or a month ago. I mean, he's a boy, but she didn't know what was wrong. He was very lethargic and not responding very clearly. And she needed to take him to the hospital. That was her gut. Well, they thought he might have had meningitis, which is not really something anybody wants to have. So this poor little thing had to go through all that testing, which includes a needle in your back, right, to take the spinal fluid out. His mom is calling me, my daughter, crying, that because she can lean on her mom. And this happened actually in the evening of Tuesday. I was actually just getting on a Zoom that I run called Execute with Excellence. And many of those individuals had no idea that I was dealing with that at the time. And I was walking her through it, and she does have her fiance and so forth to lean on, but he had to take care of the other kids as well. So I'm going through that with her. And we don't know, and we don't have answers for 24 hours. And then, I'm asking for prayers from prayer warriors and so forth. And then, he's declining. He has about 105 temperature that they had to get down. And so that's going through the night. I wake up the next morning, I get a phone call from my nephew, who tells me that my brother, who many of you have heard, he's the one who's had challenge with addiction and so forth, and continues still today at 60 off and on and doing that. He's in Hawaii right now and had been at a recovery center, which he's been to many. He got hit by a Hummer, not in a car, he was walking. Everybody should have, he should have died. Anybody would have died being hit by a Hummer. I get the chills talking about it, and it's hard. It's hard, right? And you're helpless. You have no control, and I can't even get on a plane and fly to Hawaii, right? My nephew, which is his son, is 21 years old. And he's had to deal with his dad off and on this way, and my mom and my brother. And so we have a family thing that we're having to deal with from a distance from my brother. He is literally on death's door. So all week, and as of through yesterday, he's been going through surgeries. He's had pelvic surgeries, broken bones in his leg fixed. My brother had to make a decision for him to have surgery for a disc. And because my brother had, I'm going to tell you, crystal meth in his blood system after being at recovery, going under is not a safe thing. But he also could be paralyzed. So I'm not going to go into any more of those details, but simultaneously to that, I had a friend call me and tell me that his wife passed away, a good friend in Montana. So all of these things just right? And you just want to go get in bed and crawl in bed and put the covers over your head and not do one more thing, right? But it's simultaneously, I needed to help my daughter. I needed to be strong for my mom, which has been a long, long struggle for her and her son. I needed to be a support for my brother making decisions for my other brother, right? I needed to be strong for my husband, and because we have a niece who has leukemia, and I was supposed to be there yesterday for a party before she goes in for stem cell replacement. She's a single mom with 2 boys. Okay, so we have all of these things, and we have to be strong. But how do we find that strength? It only comes from there, because our own strength cannot get us through all of this, right? And to keep going in our mission and in our purpose and what we need to do. That is why I'm battle ready here in my warrior gear, because I'm speaking life into being a warrior and standing up for all the things that we need to be a part of for our family. We have to show up for ourselves, right? And so I share all this to bring my vulnerability to you, so that you guys can really know how I get through my days and how I continue to build my business along all the challenges. Because not only have I going through that, I have taken one of my littlest granddaughter has been with me since, so that she doesn't get it, mono. She actually, my grandson actually was diagnosed with mononucleosis, and he broke out from a rash from head to toe. That doesn't happen to everybody, front to back. Poor thing, had to go back in the hospital again just to make sure that everything was okay. But I've kept her so that she doesn't get, she's only 4. So I've had her through all of this. And my husband has been traveling back and forth because he's working on a winery. So it's me. And my mom is helping me right now as I speak to you, so she could have her attention. So I'm here to share with you, to say it happens to us all. We got to become winged warriors for him. And I'm going to share some videos. I'm going to go through some information. I want to impact you today in a way you have not been impacted. I want today to be a day that you say, I will continue to show up no matter what. I'm not going to crawl in that bed, go into a circle and pity myself because someone said no or didn't answer, because that is the most smallest thing in life that we will ever experience, is a no or a turn away or someone not responding. Those things are small in comparison. We got to get the armor of God on, and we got to just go out there and do what we need to do and show up for us so that we can. My point to all of you is I could be present for every single one of those things because of ACN. Most people can't leave work, can't do this, can't do that, couldn't take in their kids, or they're a loss of income. There's no loss of income to Jocelyn Driskill's family for me to be standing in the gap. I am here saying you need to be that person standing in the gap, from young to old, to women to men. You have to be that person. That's why you're here today. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to dive in. I'm going to actually start with, I don't, many of you have probably seen this movie. Some of you haven't. I'm in this clip. This is, you know this guy. This is called the Apollo story. And what is your ACN story going to be? This story is so impactful. It hit me again. I've seen it many times. I want you to intently listen to this story and write down your takeaways. And we're going to come back and share this. It is 10 minutes, but it goes by fast if you're truly listening to what he says. So here we go.
I used to spend the night in hotel parking lots. What was I going to do? I ain't had nowhere to stay, so I lived in the car. I had $35. And I said, come on, God, man, I've been trying to make this dream come true. You done left me out here like this. And I was crying so hard that he just said, I didn't like hear a voice or nothing, but he spoke to me. And however, he said, if you get up, I'm gonna take you places you ain't never been. Now I was finna quit. So I said, skip it. I'm gonna quit anyway. So I got in my car, I went to a payphone, and I was gonna call my dad. You remember back in the day where you could punch in a code and call your answering machine and get your messages? So I called and I punched in the code, and it said, doop. He said, hey Steve, this is Chuck Sutton with Showtime at the Apollo. We saw a tape of you. You're very funny. If you could get here Sunday night, we'd love to put you on television. Call me back. Let me know if you can make it. So I hung the phone up. I'm crushed because my whole dream of being on TV, and I couldn't get to New York. I got $35. How am I gonna get to New York? I can't make it. So I'm standing there at the phone booth and tears just coming down my face. I said, God, so that must be a sign for me to go home. Cause this it, I ain't even got the money to go to the Apollo. My whole thing, I wanted to be on TV, I couldn't even make the dream come true. This is the most messed up moment. And so I said, man, let me call this dude back and see if he said this Sunday. Cause maybe he said next Sunday and I can hustle up a little bit of money or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but let me just call him back. So I called him back Steve, this is Chuck Sutton, Showtime at the Apollo. We saw a tape of yours. You're very, very funny. Look, we have an opening Sunday night at Showtime at the Apollo. If you can make it, we'd love to put you on TV. I said, it's this Sunday. Before I hit the button, I heard, doop, you have another message. Now, it wasn't there before. So I punched my code in. I listened to the second message. It said, Steve Harvey, this is Tom Sobel from the Comedy Caravan. This was a Thursday. He said, I have a gig in Jacksonville, Florida on Friday night that pays $150. If you can get there Friday night, you'll make $150. So I called him back and I said, hey, Tom, did you get a gig away? He said, no, it's still available. He said, can you get there? I said, I'm in Pensacola, Florida. I'm 3.5 hours away. So I drive to Jacksonville, Florida, and that night I made the 150. The club owner said, man, you funnier than the guy we hired. If you stay tomorrow night, I'm gonna give you another $150. So now I got $300 now. So I get on the phone, I call Chuck Sutton. I say, hey man, is the gig still available at Showtime at the Apollo? He said, yeah, we got one opening left. I said, I'll be there. So I called Eastern Airlines, who used to be open back then. They had a special for $99 going from Jacksonville, Florida to New York round trip. So I parked my car at the airport. I got it. Got on plane, flew. Everything I had was in 2 bags. Got to the Apollo. I said, hey man, I'm here. I got there at 11 o'clock in the morning. He said, you can't stay here because you don't come on to the late show tonight. I said, man, I ain't got nowhere to go. I said, if you just let me stay in this building, man, I ain't gonna move around nothing. I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm in Harlem, I can't go back out here. I got these 2 bags. I got victim wrote all over me, man. So he said, all right, if you go upstairs, don't come down. So he put me in the dressing room on the 6th floor. So that's where all the comedians was. So I stayed up there. I got hungry around 3 o'clock, and I couldn't take it no more. So I went back downstairs, a dude named Alton Liston. I said, hey man, he said, man, I thought I told you, don't come down them damn steps. I said, hey man, I'm just hungry, man. I said, let me go to that KFC I saw on the corner, just let me get some chicken. I'll come right back. He said, man, if you ain't back in 20 minutes, you ain't getting in this building. So I went, bought me some chicken, came back. So the comedians started coming in the building. They started coming up on the 6th floor. So I meet this guy named D.L. Hughley. I introduced myself, he introduced himself. I'm sitting there, another guy come in named Dwayne Johnson. Then this other dude walked in named Jamie Foxx. And I introduced myself. We don't know each other, ain't none of us famous. It's 1991, man. They gave everybody the lineup. I was on the last show of the night. I don't go on to 11 at night. I done had this 4 pieces of chicken. I'm starving, man. That chicken done wore off. I'm nervous, man. I'm about to throw up. D.L. Hughley went downstairs. D.L. Hughley got booed off. Dwayne Johnson got booed off. Jamie Foxx went down there and got booed. They booed Jamie, then Jamie started singing. And then they started clapping. And Jamie had their ass, then he went back to them jokes, and they got his ass. So I'm walking down the steps and I see Jamie sitting on the steps. I said, hey man, hang in there. He said, man, that ain't never happened to me before, man. This is crazy. This is Jamie Foxx, man, one of the most talented people in all of comedy. And now, you don't even know how nervous I am, man. I can't even, my breathing is shot because these dudes been booed. So I walk out, I had wrote this joke. Mike Tyson had got in a fight in Harlem with this heavyweight named Mitch Green. Mike Tyson had hit the dude in the eye in the store. Now he was on the news, his eye was swollen. So the joke I wrote was They was interviewing Mitch Green, and he was telling everybody what happened, but his eye took over the interview. And I wrote this joke that his eye started talking and was just, I tell you what happened. The heavyweight champ's fist is coming towards my face. I just said, Lord, Lord, Lord. And I wrote this whole joke about this dude's eyeball talking. And when the punch came, and all this here, the Apollo, man, they went crazy. They lost their mind. I got a standing ovation, man. I walked off stage, man, just started crying. I couldn't believe it. And they paid me. I made $750 for being on TV for one night. I'd never made $750 telling jokes in one night. And so that was my first television appearance. A couple weeks later, Sinbad was the host of the show. He got this job on Different World. And so he quit. And so Mark Curry became the host. And then Mark Curry got hanging with Mr. Cooper, and he quit. And they came to me and said, would you come back to New York and host amateur night for us to just try you out? Oh, ain't no problem. And so I went to New York, I hosted amateur night, and I was killing. But every time we went to commercial break, I was supposed to let the warm-up act take over like Ruben does. But I knew not to let the warm-up act do that because he would change the attitude of the crowd because the Apollo was a wild place. So I stayed out there. I did the warm-up and the hosting. And I created a bond with that audience. And that's how I got on TV. It was my very first TV show. I hosted Showtime at the Apollo. I ended up being the longest running host in the history of Showtime at the Apollo. I did that show for 8 years. Nobody ever did it for 8 years. And that was my turn back moment. See, in your life, everybody has a turn back moment. You have a moment where you could go forward or you can give up. But the thing you have to keep in mind before you give up is that if you give up, the guarantee is it will never happen. That's the guarantee of quitting, that it will never happen, no way under the sun. The only way the possibility remains that it can happen is if you never give up no matter what. Because God is always coming. He's never too late. At your worst moment, look, man, when they told me I had to be in New York, I saw no way I could get there. But that God, though, he make the phone ring. I end up in Florida, I make $300. Then I go to New York, I make $750. Almost got $1,000 out of nowhere. That's what happened to me. That was my moment of never giving up. That's when I first learned that faith was everything, that you have to remain faithful.
So that's his Apollo story. Will your ACN story be told like his? Think about it. So I'm going to stop share here. Does it get anybody when you're listening to that? Chills, right? Chill bumps. The adversity that he was facing, no money, self-doubt. His dream was still there. It was still there inside of him. And he showed up. Somehow he innovated and made it happen and got there. See, when you make yourself push through, his humility was absolutely there, right? I wrote humility down. How about how grateful was he? Just think about that message that showed up that wasn't there before, when he listened to that first message and then somehow there was another message there. Has anybody ever experienced, I know I have, like, holy cow, how did that get there? How did that happen? Where did that come from, right? You know. But when you're at your lowest point, that enemy is really trying to keep you from your dream, your greatness. Steve Harvey was totally going to change the world with his faith. And the enemy knew it. and every possible obstacle that he could throw in front of him was there. But Steve Harvey pushed through all of it. Imagine seeing all of those stars go on stage and be booed. Imagine being hungry and having to go give your best. Imagine being told not to come down from somewhere. I just imagine being in his shoes and still going out on stage. What did he have to do? One of the biggest things. So I want you guys to make sure you have your paper. I wrote down, he was innovative. You heard me say that word. His innovation, not only all the other things, his belief, and he had his belief because God believed in him. Humility, grateful. He had no excuses. Even when he had no money, he figured it out. Innovation. How many people have ever told you, I can't go to an international, I can't go to Tahoe, I don't have any money? Innovate. You can find the money when the will is there, if you're willing to go after your dream. Because when you know, just like the Apollo, that the international will change your life because someone told you it would, you got to figure out a way to get there, right? You got to figure out how to get to Tahoe, and Tahoe's the leadership. So I'm just telling you, make sure that you're that leader for someone, because someone was doing that for him, right? So think about this. Innovation, write this down. This is the definition. The action or process, development and implementation of a new product or service with aim of improving efficiency, effectiveness, or competitive advantage. That's innovation. The action or process, development and implementation of a new product or service with aim of improving efficiency, effectiveness, or competitive advantage. Who does this for us every single day for the last 28 years? It's 3 letters, ACN. They are huge innovators globally. And we, as business owners inside of our business, how many obstacles and challenges do you think they have going into any country, let alone 28? Let alone bring new services and products to our forefront so that we can win. So what do we need to do? We need to innovate in our space. In our space, we need to bring value and be valuable to our marketplace. We need to be creative. See, it's the same work and the same thing we do every day, but how do you innovate that same thing and be different and more valuable in your marketplace and with the people you're talking to? So important. It's all about showing up. Some of the different things I wrote down, showing up. Think about the icon he is today, Steve Harvey today in his industry. Think about the icons like Mr. Al Thomas that we work with alongside every single day, and Mr. Nelson and all your top coaches in ACN. They're iconic in our industry. They're iconic in other industries. They've been blessed now because of their innovation, becoming more valuable, being creative in their space with what we already do every single day alongside of ACN. They now have time freedom to do what they want, when they want. And how many lives are they impacting because of their example? Will you be that example? Will you be the next Steve Harvey, Mr. Al Thomas, Mr. Byron Nelson, and others alike? Because you can. As I shared in the beginning, we all go through our challenges, all our obstacles. We all have life happen to us, but it is not about what happens to us. And it's not about how, it's how we react to it. And not going and hiding in our bed. Sometimes we feel like doing it, but we got to get up. So I'm gonna dive into the next part of it because I want to get through this, but I want to make sure that I bring you the goods. Think about his turn back moment. What, have you had one? Have you had your turn back moment where you thought, this, I just can't, it's not me. I can't do this. I'm going to give up. Question yourself, self-doubt. I'm not a Mr. Al Thomas. I'm not a Mr. Byron Nelson. Well, you don't need to be. You need to be you, uniquely you in this opportunity. You need to show up like Steve Harvey did and killed that audience at the Apollo. And who couldn't do it? Who got booed off? Come on, they're icons too. It was his moment. It was his turn back moment. He did not quit, and he showed up on that stage, and event after event started to happen for him and unfold because he showed up through his adversity. You will be seen when you show up for your adversity. And oh boy, do I know this. Oh boy, do I know people have asked me to do things that I never thought I was capable of, including standing on stages in front of thousands. I was not that girl, but I showed up and I had to be seen. Why did I have to be seen? I know why I have to be seen. Being asked to do this, Mr. Al Thomas saw me, and here I am speaking to all of you. I self-doubt myself getting on this and being able to impact any one of you. But I know my purpose, and I know my power, and I know I'm a warrior for him, right? So think about all of that. It's the choices we make in the next moments, not giving up, because if you give up, it will never happen, never. So it brings me to the next, I'm going to show another clip because it's going to end and round everything all together. He said, God is always coming. God made his ring, that phone ring, and set up the series of events. But if he didn't choose to keep going and pushing through, which was his will, everything you do comes from your will, and your will get you through, and you'll know what that, because that is you, your will. That all would not have unfolded. Chain of events, good or bad, your choice. So my topic of today is this. I'm going to share my screen. I didn't do it in the beginning because it needed to come right now. The topic of the day is will to way to warriors. The will is you. The way is God. Then you can become the warrior. The will is you. The way is made by God. Then you can become the warrior. So I'm going to play this next video, and then we're going to wind it all up. This video is all about what a warrior is. And that is...
This is the road to becoming a warrior. An experienced, skilled, and calculated soldier. A fighter, a game changer. Somebody who refuses to stay down. This is somebody who is set apart from those who operate in the realm of normalcy. This is somebody who is above and beyond. We got a bit of a work ethic to go after it. A student is a disciple, and a disciple is disciplined. Disciplined to achieve the spirit of the warrior. They are perfectly positioned for victory daily. Discipline is an invitation out of normalcy. A man who studies is a man who is allergic to average. So you are a warrior, and you don't even know it. Take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. After today, everything is about to change. Because change starts with you. To understand this is to know the difference between men and lions. You must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain. And in this very moment, all you have is all you need. See, somebody lied to you and told you that life is about acquiring more to move forward. And what if I told you that getting to the top of the mountain was not about acquiring more, but about becoming more. That if you can become, then you will find your authentic path to the top. Everybody wants to go to the top, but nobody wants to discover new ways to climb there. Find your authenticity. Discover your identity. We're all told, if you want to get to the top, follow the leader. But that is a broken mentality. Yes, leaders are necessary, but we must be fully aware when we have been called to lead, to blaze our own trail, to discover a new way. It's daunting, it's exhausting to get to the top. But there is more than one way, and you will discover that way by not acquiring. So it is not the more that you get, the faster you will go. It is the more you become, the quicker you will elevate. And so getting to the top of the mountain has more to do with becoming than acquiring. What is your mountain? What is your trial? Who is the giant standing in front of you? Name it and defeat it. The climb is just as important as the arrival. The top is the end game, but the process is what will make you. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of this world. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone, at the end of your ego and your insecurities. But when you come to the end of yourself and the beginning of the understanding of our world, why we're here and what is our purpose, then all of a sudden everything changes. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. The world is vast. Over 7.5 billion people walk the face of this planet. There is so much here. Creation, the antelope, the trees, the mountains, the stars, people from every nation, in every tongue. We have economy, we have industry, we have technology. We are more advanced than ever before. So take a moment and agree never to self-sabotage yourself. No more self-condemnation. That you cease to see the opportunities in this world. How beautiful our planet is. To think lightly of yourself and deeply of this world is an invitation out of your ego, out of your insecurities, out of what you think you cannot do. It is to look beyond your program. It is to think of your legacy. It is to think of what you will leave behind. It is to think of your contribution and your impact. Even in this moment, in the midst of trial, in the midst of tribulation, ask yourself the question, what can I contribute? You see, conflict is necessary. Trial is needed. It causes us to create, to be proactive, to be inventive. It moves us to become pioneers. What type of mark will you leave on the earth? What will be your legacy? Man has always been haunted by the vastness of eternity. And so we ask ourselves, when we are long gone, will our names remain?
Another wow. Anybody got more chills? Oh my gosh. So let's go over a few of these, because when you think about it, being a warrior and being an ACN, they come together, correct? Those of you who are on your way to regional director, regional vice president, senior vice president, it's going to take that warrior in you, and you all have it. You all have it, or you wouldn't be here this morning. You showed up this morning, and most of you show up every single day to feed yourself but it's time to believe it's you and you're the warrior and you got to get out there and win and lead because you're called to lead. Don't follow the leader. Yes, be coached by a leader, but become the leader you're called to be. So he talks about a fighter, a game changer, above and beyond. You have to have the work ethic. You are a disciple. He said, a disciple is disciplined to achieve the spirit of a warrior. You got to be a disciple. They are perfectly positioned for victory. How many of you want victory, not only just over your life, but to reach the pinnacle of SVP, Circle of Champions, right? And not because of the title, but because you did it, because you made it happen, because you saw it through and you showed up. Everybody has to go through trials to get there. Everybody has to go through it. Remember when he did I want you guys to do this with me. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. When those trials come in, just like my week was last week, I stopped myself not to hide, but to inhale and exhale. And when you do that, you find your center again and you get back in the game because you are the game changer. I talked about after today, everything will change. I believe at least one person on here, everything is going to change from this today. Everything. There's more than one path to the top. We would go back to innovation. There's more than one way to the top. Remember, he said, it's not about acquiring, it's about becoming. The process is you becoming, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. You're going to hit obstacles, but just know the person right alongside of you is also doing that. I'm with you, Natasha. I'm with you, Sam Foster. I'm with you, Sensational. I'm with you, Belinda. I'm with you, Pat. I'm with you, T, Edmund, Bill, Claudine, Ishmael, Freddie, Akiko, Ursula, Alan, Dave, Julian, Jomar, Carolyn Baker, Heather. You guys, I'm with you through every single challenge. Tammy, Chris, and Rose, Louisin, Pion, I see you in Japan. Daryl, Queen Aline, Coach Johnny, Marcia, Mary Perez, Mary Moulton, Luann, Harrison, Corey, all of you, I'm with you. And so is all the other leaders who are going along with you, because we go before you, but we go with you. That is the beauty of ACN. We do not follow the leader, as he said, become the leader because you're called to it. Blazing new trails. What does ACN do every day? They blaze new trails. Blaze your new trail. Your way to the top is not my way to the top. It's different. It's going to be different. And that's okay. Discover your way with your will. What giant is in front of you? It's time to slay it, warriors. You see that? You see that right there? That sword? It's time to slay that giant because you are a warrior. You know, I had Jabri play The Climb today. That was Lauren Elena singing it. Miley Cyrus first sung it. It is all about the climb, the process of you becoming. And that's why I played that today. What will make you? Why are you here? And what is your purpose? You've heard me say that before. What do you want to say to this world? What do you want the world to know about you, Sensational? What do you want the world to see you as, Natasha? What impact, T, do you want to make that the world will see and you will leave a legacy? He said, stop self-sabotaging. How many of you are self-sabotagers?
This is the road to become.
Sorry. Seize your opportunity, he said. You are a warrior. It's time to leave your legacy. It's time to leave your legacy, and it starts today. So I am going to call to action some things that I think to get us into action today and through the week, and here they are. Everybody, warrior ready? Warrior ready. This is the mission possible, and these are simple actions. Write them down, take a picture of this. I was working with my group on Tuesday with this that night when I heard about my grandson. And we all did it on the spot. And I'm doing it with you because I'm in the same position as you are. I'm running our second position to regional director and continuing both of those to RVP, and we will have multiple SVPs in our family. Okay. So I'm with you. I got to do the same work, and I'm going to be innovating and creating. And these are two of the things that we are doing differently. So friend 25 plus new people this week on Facebook and or Instagram, or at least one of them, and then do it every single week, because growing your network is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. I never want to hear anybody say, I don't have enough people, because there are 7.5 billion in the world. Okay. And we have 28 countries of that world at our fingertips to build a business and build a network. So start friending people in all the countries we're in as well. So friend 25 new people this week, and do it every single week on your social media, because growing your network is your net worth. Then send out 5 peaks. Now, this is what I use and I train because I keep it simple, and then you know what to do with the rest. Mr. Thomas has been training this and how to peak and invite and get people on stuff and send a video, but this is a great peak and it gets attention. Whether you text it to people, if you're friending new people on Facebook, you're going to send it in Messenger or Instagram messaging, right? So if you knew there was a way to make money every time someone paid their monthly bills globally, like cell phone, electricity and gas, TV, internet, would you want to know about it? That's it. Because some people will answer yes, some people will say no, and most people just, if they don't have anything to say, they don't say anything. You could just keep going. How many of you could do that over and over and over, because you just now gave them an insight that it's not about all those other type of direct selling companies. You mentioned cell phone, electricity, right? So it gets the right people's attention quicker. It's that simple, guys. And we're getting the attention with this invite. I promise you we are. Heather will tell you, Loopy will tell you. There's many people on here that have been doing this, and I have been doing it. I'm getting attention. So that's the first challenge. The second one is send out 5 ID seal peaks a day. 5 ID seal peaks a day. And I'm focusing on this because this is our pioneering product service. He said in that video, become a pioneer. We are. ACN's doing it. It speaks all to what we do and who we are as a company and as an individual business owner. We are innovators, we are warriors, and we are pioneers creating legacies with our business and our industries, and we are pioneering ID Seal. So you could do something like this. I sent this actually to one of my friends, and I said, hello, Patty, because I have people I haven't sent it to, but you can do this also in Messenger if you don't have their phone number, but you do talk to them or they like your stuff. You can do this. Hello, Patty. I have been meaning to connect with you on this subject. Say something personal to her or him so that you have that connection. You tie them in to you. Then I name a few of her family members. So, I mean, I know some of her family members and some of them are customers of this service. Okay. So I'm relating to her in that way. Or if they're not, then you don't need to use that. Just say, I have a question for you. question mark, question mark. Do you currently have identity theft protection? Question mark. If not, do you know the value and understand how critical this is to have in place? Question mark. Always asking questions, getting them to think. If you do have some sort of identity theft protection, would you be willing to allow me to compare with ours, as well as share a video with you that explains what is really happening? And you can say really happening out in the global world of cyber criminals, right? You can say whatever you want. You can mix it up, switch it however you want. It would be a huge favor as well to Tony and I if you gave us the opportunity. Thank you in advance. So if you, I said it would be a huge favor. I'm using the favor. Remember, that's the key. If you gave us the opportunity, and we thank you in advance. Tony and I thank you in advance, however you may personalize it. And we look forward to hearing back from you. Do 5 ID seal peeks a day. I want you to start tracking your results. And that is how you will, hold on, let's get it back here. That's how you will become the warrior inside of ACN, become innovative, really take yourself to the next level, because it's the process. That is the process I'm showing you. And I'm hoping you step into it and start doing these actions to claim the results and become the leader that people want to follow. So warriors ready? Warriors ready? Let's go, right? Take your inhale and your exhale. Your inhale and your exhale, and go after it. So thank you so much, Natasha. Thank you for all of you showing up here today. I'm grateful to have been a part of this month, and you guys will not see me the next 2 Mondays, because in the midst of all of this, I am planning a wedding, which is on the 25th for my daughter. And we have all this wedding, and it's not in town, it's in Santa Barbara. And so we have the last final details to bring to fruition and bring that wedding alive, of her dream of getting married. After 15 years, they're finally getting married, 3 kids, they bought a beautiful house on property and have careers of their own, both, and they're in ACN with us as well. And now they're getting married. But we're celebrating and we're excited. So I will be with you guys. Obviously, I show up here and learn myself and keep moving. So I just appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are amazing. I'm proud of you. And I know this is going to take someone and someone's to their next best self. So Natasha, I'm going to hand it back to you guys, and love you all very, very much.
Oh my gosh, I don't know who else is like, I kept moving around in my seat because I feel like I want to get up and go run like a marathon that I've never done before. But every time Mrs. Driskill speaks, I don't know how many people get the chills, but what I started doing is every time she's speaking, look, on my notes, I start marking how many chills I get. So today we got 18, Mrs. Driskill.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like one every 4 minutes or something. I don't know. But can we please show Mrs. Driskill how much we appreciate and love her in the chat, and just like clap for her, just throw her hearts. I mean, I don't even know how Mr. Thomas or God is having me close this out, but there's a lot of bigger things than getting told no, as you all heard. And Mrs. Driskill, I mean, when she talked about that, I completely connected, because she knows things that I've personally gone through, and I know things that personally some of you are going through or have gone through. And when somebody says no, nothing, it doesn't compare to the other bigger things in life. So that was amazing. You have a turn back moment. And remember, God is never late. He's always on time. Will your story be told? Bring value and be valuable. And you will be seen when you show up through your adversity. And there's more than one path to get to the top. Blaze your new trail. So I don't know, Mrs. Driskill, how you do this. I don't know, but this is one that I will have on repeat. It's one of my personal favorites now. And you just keep, yeah, see, she's just pointing out. But everyone, can we please give it up for Mrs. Driskill? And Mrs. Driskill, please, if you have any last words that you want to say, go ahead.
Gosh, I don't know what more I can say. But I just want you guys to know that all things are possible because it's not by your strength, it's by his. And you can have so many dreams unlock. You have no idea what is locked inside of your soul and your spirit. You have no idea, because as I'm standing here and I'm looking over at my table, I'm going to show you my table. I'm just going to take a second. As I'm writing my book, which is over here, and my table, which I don't know if you guys can see, but I have hats and books, and there's wedding stuff over there. But I have all kinds of things. I have, I'm just going to take you in my house here. I have a line of clothing hanging on racks over there. You guys, God has brought so much abundance and vision to my life, and it's very scary to step into branding, and I'm trademarking this brand right now, and it's all because of ACN. I'm not lying here. I'm telling you, not only did ACN come in our adversity, if you know my story is we lost everything in 2008 and 9. ACN was showcased to us and we were asked a favor to take a look at a business project she was excited about, and she had no business background, and she really respected us as business owners. Little did she know we'd been praying for months for something to change. Our life was upside down. I look back and I go, it's but God. Only it could only be how we got to buy a house that I'm standing in today within 1 year of starting ACN. Because we showed up and we saw the gift and we did something with it right then. We were still running our traditional businesses and we were busier than ever, but ACN system blessed us. The people blessed us like Mr. Thomas and showed us how to lead. And we continue to show up. How did we get on an airplane and show up at an international event across the country with no money? Those moments, those turn back moments of choosing and making those hard choices to figure it out and be innovative, to show up. And today I'm here, standing here 12 years later, a whole different person. And I still got a long ways to go, in a whole different place of my life, being able to write a book. I never thought I would author a book. Come on, who wants to hear my story? But we all have one. And this is what the book is called. I'm just going to show you all. She tapped out, with her boxing gloves hanging around the cross, and that is all about surrendering it all to him. I didn't give up. I just tapped out and gave it to him. That's what the book is about. And Winged Warrior is the series and the clothing line and the brand. What the heck? He gave that to me and I went, where did that come from? You guys, ACN will open up so many things for you, but you got to show up and lead. You're called to be a leader. Just do it. Be present and do what you know is so simple to do here, and just work and walk through adversity, because we're going to get it. However long we live on this earth, it's not perfect and we will get it. So just keep going, you guys. Love you all. Thank you so much. I can't wait to be with you guys the rest of the week. And I can't wait to be back and share, I don't know, a couple months from now or whatever. That's happened to me over the last 2 months as well. So it's back to you.